Hey Quilty friends! Today we're doing block 16 in the Quilty 5K, and this is the Pinwheel star. It's a little bit different star, and the construction of these points is a little different than you might think. I can't wait to show you how simple it is to put together once you know the trick. Are you ready? Let's get started. For my banana cream, I need 8 2.5-inch strips, so I put on my spot on dots, lined up at 2.5, and then I'm going to cut all the way across. Now I can subcut this down, square it off the end, and I can make my 2.5-inch cuts. I need 8, and this is stacked up 2 fabrics on top of each other, so that means I'll need to make 4 cuts to get 8 pieces. There we go, there are my 8 pieces, and now I'm going to go grab my Very Berry. From the Very Berry, I'm cutting a 2.5-inch strip that I'm going to subcut into 2 different sizes, but everything's coming from a 2.5-inch strip. Got a smaller ruler here so I can just trim off the end. And I just need one 2.5-inch piece, but if you've been around here for very long, you know that I like to keep things double folded for being able to cut multiples later, so I'm just going to go ahead and cut 2 of them. Keep one, scrap one. And then for 2.5 by 1.5. There we go. I have all the pieces cut that I need. We'll go ahead and take these over to the sewing machine. So set aside my squares, and I'm starting with these rectangles. And this part is really important. You're actually going to draw a line from the bottom right to the top left on all of these. So bottom right to top left. And this is important. If you go the other way, it won't work because these aren't squares. They're rectangles. You can't just turn them 90 degrees and have the line pointing in the opposite direction. There we go. So that now I have these all drawn on. What you'd think is that we'd go like this and we would sew a line, but when you do that, you end up with a line that has your unit going in the wrong direction. What we need is our unit to take up this corner. And so I'm just going to put a little dot at the 1.5-inch mark, and I'm going to turn this, what is that, 45 degrees-ish, so that the bottom corner meets there and the line meets right up there. And what that's going to do is when this folds open, magically it's going to fill up my square. Right? So I'm going to go ahead and mark on all 4 of my pieces where that 1.5-inch mark is. And then I'm going to take these to my sewing machine and sew right on that line. So give yourself just a little bit of room from that 1.5-inch mark, just to be on the safe side. I'm going to grab my threads so they don't get sucked up since I'm not doing leader enders today. I'm going right on that line. And I'm just going to repeat that with all 4 pieces. So now we have these funny shaped blocks and this wacky side over here. I'm going to trim to just about 1/4 inch. You could get your ruler and your rotary cutter out and cut it to exactly 1/4 inch, but it's seam allowance It's just there to make sure that my seam doesn't get ripped out. It's just the buffer. And so it's okay if it's not exactly a 1/4 inch. You definitely want to go a good 1/4 inch. You don't want it to be 1/8 of an inch, but that's just fine. And now, if we've done everything right, fingers crossed, when we press this open, I'll have a pretty little square. And I do. So I'll keep pressing all these open. And then I'm going to trim away my little partial dog ears here. And that's just going to reduce the bulk. I've got a lot of seam allowance going on in this corner, and this extra bit isn't doing anyone any favors. So I'll just trim it away. Easy peasy. And now I can just lay out my whole block. So I have a yellow square in all 4 corners. My very, very square in the middle, and my pinwheel star points all the way around. Perfect, right? So just like always, I'm going to stitch these together into pairs to make my rows, add this onto each, and then I'll have my rows, and then stitch my rows together to make my quilt block. And then we're done. So let's go ahead and get stitching. We have our rows. Let's press. I want to be able to press these in, this one out, and that's just to reduce the bulk in our seams. You always want to press towards blocks that, or units that don't have seams if you can, and so that's what I'm doing here. And there we are. So just these rows together, that row on the bottom, and our block's going to be all done. If you have no preference of which way to press, you can press in either all in the same direction or press out. Both, I think, are perfectly valid. I'm just going to go ahead and press out, but pressing all in one direction would be fine as well. Such a fun block. Our pinwheel star is complete. And that's how easy it is to make the pinwheel star block. Remember, you can go to my site to get all the instructions. I've got the PDFs with the breakdown of the 6-inch, the 12-inch, and the 18-inch blocks, the instructions that will take you step by step through how to make this quilt block, some different layout options, and of course a coloring sheet so that you can make this block your own and turn it into an entire quilt. Make sure that you are subscribed to this channel, that you've liked this video, and if you have any questions or comments, leave those below. And if you're following along and making the Quilty 5K blocks, or even if you've just made one, go ahead and put it on Instagram with the hashtag Quilty5K and tag me at Craftmore, that's CRAFTMOORE, and I'll get to see your block. I'm so excited to see what you make. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you right here very soon with another block in our Quilty 5K. We're up to 16 already, only a few more to go.